Yeah. In continuation, let us see, uh, I can say, types of interviews. We can better understand when you just look at the types of interviews and how many types of interviews are there and what kind of questions would be there. And that would really give us an idea about, how to perform better in the interviews. Like you can also have some drills on, mock interviews. And especially if you just look at the types of interviews, just before that, we have understood we had to thoroughly research the company that we were about to join, and we have to really know from all the sources the best of that institute, the performance, maybe the losses or whatever. It's better to have a kind of information about it. That's all. And then you should reflect the image of someone working with the company. Then you will have a better idea. Now, if you just look at the types of interviews, how many types of interviews are there? Like behavioral interview, phone interview, stress interview, technical interview, group interviews, panel interviews, and role plays. So these are several types of interviews. But commonly, we always find only behavioral kind of interview being, I mean, dominating. Whereas these days, phone interviews also have become very common, since they are not able to meet the person face to face, or sometimes it so happens if they're not able to meet the person who is far off, maybe abroad or maybe somewhere where he cannot really dwindle, he cannot come down to the place. In that case, what they do is they try to conduct the interview over phone. So phone interviews are very common, especially in MNCs today, multinational companies and software companies. Whereas, of course, the traditional interviews are there in government jobs. Even today, we are able to find only behavioral kind of interviews. Of course, group interviews in which they will just take the interview for the whole group and see who is going to dominate, who is going to express well, who is going to present the best, and all that. So let's see one by one. Let's see first, let us try to understand what is a behavioral interview. So common type of job interview in the modern workplace is the behavioral interview, or it is also known as behavioral event interview, and it is also called competency based. So they are going to decide your competency, whether you are fit for this job or not, based on certain questions they are going to ask, maybe related to your subject, maybe related to certain other things, and all. Face to face kind of interview here is called behavioral interview. Especially in the behavioral interview, the advantage is that, suppose somebody is going to switch over from one company to the other here for a good package or for some good position or whatever, then they can really understand what was his performance with the previous company. And they would try to ask him, especially this type of interview is based on the notion that a job candidate's previous behaviors are very important to judge. How did he behave in a particular situation in the previous job would make us understand what is his temperament, what are his extra skills to really handle a situation, especially whether he's going to be fit for the future performance, future job or not, could be decided based on his previous, performance and previous skills that he had exhibited in a particular stress time. Especially in behavioral interviews, the interviewer asks the candidates to discuss or to recall some specific circumstances or specific instances which he faced with the previous company or a firm or an organization, and how did he really react, how did he behave in that particular situation, would really make us understand what is his basic, you know, temperament, basic disposition. So behavioral interview would really make them understand whether he is fit for the present job or not based on his previous performance. The next, usually in a behavioral interview, what kind of questions would be there? Like commonly they ask, tell me about a project you worked on. Like what kind of project you took up? Okay. And what did you do? What are your findings? What was your hypothesis and what was your, findings? Or tell me about a time when you took the lead on a project and what did you do? Or tell me or describe the worst project that you have ever worked. Or describe a time you had to work with someone you didn't like. So then how did you manage? That shows your temperament, your attitude, how cool you are. Or tell me about a time when you had to stick by a decision you had made, even though it made you very unpopular. You took some decision previously, but you had to stick to it because you made it, though it made you very unpopular. Or they may ask, give us an example of something particularly innovative that you have done that made a difference in your workplace. This is very important. So what is your innovative procedure, innovative practices that you have shown? That had really taken you too far in that company. It brought you too much of recognition for it. Just discuss one. So they're all live situations. You can't really bluff them. It's very difficult. And what happened the last time you were late with a project? Suppose within a stipulated point of time you were to finish a particular project, but you could not really get along with that, and you are late with the project, and what happened? What were the consequences of that? And then have you ever witnessed a person doing something that you felt was against company policy? What did you do and why? So are you very loyal to the company that you are working? Suppose you came to know that somebody is working against the firm or organization. Did you really caution him, or did you discuss with him, or did you bring it to the notice of, higher ups? If so, why? If not, why? Okay. So the next kind of interview. So there are some typical questions that they would ask you in behavioral kind of interviews. Now the second category is known as phone interviews. I told you phone interviews has become very popular today, dated, I guess, very much dated today. So why does a phone interview take place? Because if a recruiter wishes to dwindle down the number of prospective candidates before deciding on a short list for face-to-face interview, sometimes, suppose for a job, so many have applied, they want to shortlist. What they do, they would just speak to everyone over a phone. So that, they will decide the competency, whether this person has good communication skills or not, good skills or not, whether he is fit to be called directly for the interview or not, would be decided on the phone only. So if they want to reduce the number of the candidates who have applied, they can do that. Or there is one more possibility here. If a job applicant is sometimes a significant distance away from the premises, maybe somewhere is in Delhi, maybe he's abroad, but still he has applied for it. We think that is a potential candidate we don't want to miss. In that case, we would like to take an interview over phone and decide whether to take him or not. So that's the reason why we would try to take, I can say, phone interviews. Then the other interview is known as a stress interview. I told you already, we discussed this in one of our videos. Stress interviews are still in common use. Other types of stress interview is, one type of stress interview is where the employer uses succession of interviews, one at a time or en masse, all at a time, whose mission is to intimidate the candidate. They want to create a kind of stress for the candidate. So when he steps in, he's able to find so many people, around 10 or 12 panel of interviewers. You will be flabbergasted. That's what's very common. So in order to intimidate the candidate, number one, or just to see whether he will go off the balance or not, the purpose of this interview is to find out how the candidate is able to handle the stress, whether he is able to withstand the stress that is temporarily or tentatively created, or whether he feels nervous, out of place. So, in order to test that, they would try to introduce so many interviews at a time. So, sometimes stress interviews might involve testing an applicant's behavior in the busy environment also. Then how he is going to really respond. Suppose when somebody is busy, the way he responds, the way he answers would be totally different. So questions about handling work overload, dealing with multiple projects, or handling, conflicts are very, very typical. They ask all these typical questions like, how do you handle work overload? Suppose you are overloaded with the work, how are you going to really deal with that? Multiple projects you are given to really, submit or to really pursue, then how would you really take that stress? Then is the next type of interview is a technical interview. This kind of interview focuses on the problem solving skills of the candidate. Suppose there is some kind of conflict, some kind of problem, how this candidate is going to solve that problem, manage the conflict, and his creativity. Is he really only a technocrat, or does he have any creativity of his own where he can use his brain? The questions aim at your problem solving skills. They try to just give some, already some established kind of circumstances or situations or previous situations they give, and ask him, how would you really handle it? If you were there in that position, how would you handle that? Show your ability and creativity. How would you really show your ability and creativity and solve this problem if you were there? If you are the boss, if you are the manager, how would you deal with that? These are all hypothetical kind of questions. Sometimes these interviews will be on a computer module with multiple choice questions to know the technical skills of a person. So these are some types of interviews. Of course, there are some more you have seen. That is, I can say, a stress interview, phone interview, and group interview. In the group interviews, there'll be a group of people, like, group discussions, a debate. Especially in a group discussion and a debate, what's going to be the behavior of an individual in a group? Whether he's going to dominate, whether he's going to hurt the feelings of others, what is going to be his presentation skills, his convincing skills, what's the language that he's going to use to really dominate others, how would he present his ideas, taking edge over others. All this would be really tested. Of course, panel interviews and role plays. They'll just ask you to play a role of something and see Suppose you are a boss, how would you really? Suppose you are this, how would you do it? So they would just see his communication skills, his competency, his problem solving skills, and various other skills they would see. So these are typically different types of interviews that we can see. And after understanding the different types of interviews, majorly what is important, I told you, dress sense, and we have elaboratively discussed the role or the importance of the dress, like a white collar job or a blue collar job or a creative job or a professional job, or what kind of job that you are going for, what should be the dress code for that, how formal you are, how informal you are, how do you look, is very important. Then body language, I told you. In body language, postures, gestures, your eye contact, facial facial expressions, the movement of your hands, okay, the sitting style, and various other things. So that's why body language is known as non-verbal communication. I told you already, this is one of the important things that we have already discussed in one of our videos, the importance of non-verbal communication, because I told you around 70 to 80% is non-verbal. Only to the tune of 30% we are struggling to learn the language and present ourselves. Already we are gifted with all this, natural body language. If you can really take care of it. So the posture, pose, body pose means posture, gestures, eye movements or eye contact. Humans send and interpret such signals subconsciously. You can easily, see the feedback without asking anybody. While you are speaking something, while you are answering something, you can really read the faces of all those people, because face is the index of the mind. You can't really stop yourself. You can't really control. That's very evident on your face. So it is 93% of body language. And of course, in body language, not only body language, but also the tonal effect, around 30% tonal effect, around, I can say, 50% body language, 30% tonal effect, around 80%. And 7% of the communication consisting of words. That's it. So a body language gives the clues as to the attitude or state of mind of a person. For example, it may indicate whether he is aggressive or attentive, feeling bored or relaxed, happy or pleasure, amusement, or many other. Of course, body really, it suggests and it indicates quite a lot. So in body language, good eye contact plays a vital role, and smile all through. Don't show any nervousness. Don't show any kind of irritation on your face. Be smiling. Open body language. Don't slouch too much. Don't be too erect, as if you are just like a robo. You're not a robo. Be normal. Don't slouch too much. Don't erect too much. Make sure that your eyes really sparkle with some kind of energy. And accept an offer for a glass of water. Suppose, would you like to have some water? Don't mind. And make it a practice to shake your hand very firmly. A firm handshake, I told you, is very, very important. Then matching your communication style to that of the interview. Listen carefully. I told you listening skill is very important. You should be able to understand the question that they're asking. If you repeatedly ask them, come again, sorry, please tell again, repeat the question. I didn't understand, sir. What are you meant for? You are here for listening. Listen carefully. Prick your ears open and listen attentively and carefully what they are asking. Try to understand. And avoid interrupting the interviewer. Interviewer, while he's either speaking or asking question, don't interrupt him. Let him complete. Then just thank him for the question or just say you're going to answer that. And don't use too much of technical jargon, technical words, technical kind of vocabulary. Don't use too much of technical jargon in your answers or questions. That is also one important thing. So, very good things to keep in mind is a good handshake. Okay. Pronounce the interviewer's name. Don't be always calling him sir or madam. If you know his name, Mr. Robert, Mr. Michael, Mrs. Gladys, or Miss, better to address women as Miss, which is both Mrs. and Miss. Miss Rachel is better. And try to pronounce the interviewer's name properly. If you can't pronounce his name properly, don't commit yourself. If you mispronounce, it's very offending. And get the interviewer to do a lot of talking. Let him do. And maintain good eye contact with your interviewer. Smile as if the conversation is very friendly, you are very comfortable, okay? You are not nervous at all. Have a very confident posture all through and mirror your interviewer's body language. Keep all your answers positive. Don't try to give any negative answers. Be positive. Show enthusiasm and dynamism all through. I told you, your eyes sparkle with energy. Listen carefully and ask the interviewer questions when the opportunity arises. And dealing with the nerves. And being nervous is very normal. Of course, not for you. Even that interviewer happens to be an interviewee, then he will also undergo some kind of nervousness. Doesn't mean that you need to be over nervous. You can acknowledge it, sir, I'm slightly nervous. Oh, fine. Why? Relax, they say. Then just relax. Don't be saying for each and every question, they ask, I'm nervous. I'm sorry, I can't answer. I'm nervous. I apologize for it. Too many apologies. It's wrong. Of course, they understand that you are nervous. That's enough. That will keep you in good place. Okay? And one more disadvantage that you have is when you say that you are over nervous, when the other candidates who come are there very relaxed and they receive all those questions and answer, naturally they will back the job. So stick to the question being asked and answer it concisely. You will control your nervousness more effectively. If you have taken the time to practice answering questions before the interview. That's why rehearsal is very important to overcome the nervousness. And how to close the interview. This is also another important thing. The purpose of the interview is to help you determine if the position will be right for you or not. So it is equally helpful and useful to you also. You should decide for yourself whether you are fit for the job or not. Prepare questions and ask the interviewer when asked to do so. They will also give you an opportunity at the end. Do you have any questions? Then you can also ask certain questions, no problem. Prepare a set of questions beforehand. Ask what the process will be after the interview has been completed. What's going to be the next process? How will you finalize it? Or when they would be prepared to make a decision. and then leave the interviewer always with a firm and a good impression, good handshake, with a smile and a firm handshake. Then common interview questions we will see. Like, first question would be, tell me about yourself. Common, anywhere, tell me about yourself. Just to keep you at ease, just to make you feel relaxed, just to tell me about yourself. Then, why did you leave your previous job? They want to see. What experience do you have in this particular field? Do you consider yourself very successful? What do co-workers say about you? What do you know about this particular organization? What have you done to improve your knowledge in the last year? Are you applying for other jobs as well? Why do you want to work for this organization only? Do you know anyone who works for us? Like, these are certain questions expected. You should go thoroughly prepared for this. So you have to remember this, like interview. Being too friendly, can avoid caveats. Don't be too friendly. Not listening to questions carefully is very bad. Just like do's and don'ts, this is don'ts. Saying we instead of referring to your own achievements is bad. It is your achievement. How do you say we? Don't say we. Making very general statements every time is bad. Being over enthusiastic. Anything over is over. Being poorly prepared for the interview. Slouching, mumbling, grumbling, speaking slowly, inaudibly, knowing nothing about the company to whom you are talking to or the company that you are going to join is very bad. Making derogatory remarks about your previous employers is a bad kind of thing that you are not supposed to do at all. And you can also see in the mock interviews, okay, you can find. And mock interviews really will help you to practice better, develop interview strategies. It reduces your anxiety and nervousness beforehand, because before the actual interview, you can be well prepared, create a good and best first impression and lasting impression, and communicate your skills clearly, and how to answer difficult questions. All these things you would be able to understand. So a mock interview is one of the best ways to prepare for an actual employment interview. Okay? And the mock interview focuses on how well you know yourself and your past experiences. So these are certain things that you have to keep in mind, and take care of all this. Then you would be able to do wonderfully in your interviews. If you are thoroughly prepared beforehand, nothing is going to stop you like anything. If you are already experienced, you have worked in some organization already, then you don't have to worry about it all, because your experience itself counts like anything. Your presentation skills, your communication skills, the way you speak, the way you talk, the way you really share everything itself really keeps you in a good place, and you don't have to worry, and don't give any scope for any kind of nervousness or diffidence and all that. You can really do a wonderful job, and with these things in mind, we can proceed. You can really do like anything. So that's all for now. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching this video.